Psych of Human Relations, Unit 2B, Chapter 6, Career Success Begins with Knowing Yourself, and this is going to focus on how attitudes can shape your life. So when we look at attitudes, these are the things that we're going to be focusing on. The big overarching question is, how do they impact job performance? So we'll look at the impact that attitudes have on the success of individuals plus organizations, so businesses. The ways that we acquire our attitudes, the things that employers value in terms of attitudes, how to change your own, and what adjustments you can make to helping employees and those around you have better attitudes and develop better attitudes. So the book begins by explaining and defining what attitudes are. And so these are the ways that we think that, and we accept these things as being true. And the impact that that can have is because we believe these things are true, regardless if they're good things or bad things, that's going to impact how we act towards things. The other thing is attitudes impact how willing we are or how ready we are to act or behave in a certain way. And the big thing here is attitudes are learned and they can be changed over time. So when we look at the different components, they talk about cognitive, emotional, behavioral. So if we look at some examples of cognitive, attitudes about smoking and probably vaping have been changing as more accurate information about the risks have been developing. So we can learn things about something and change the way we think about them. Emotional, those are the feelings that we have. We're more likely to donate if we're in a good mood or if we have good feelings towards the cause. Behavioral, that's when our thoughts and feelings promote or move us to action. And we're going to act towards an object or towards an idea, towards a person when those things are kind of motivating us to do something. Hiring for attitude. When you're in the job hunt, you want to do a couple of different things. The book suggests checking your resume, your outfit, your attitude. So walk in with a positive attitude, with a positive aura. When you're looking at application materials, customize them to match you, your values, your attitudes. And when you go into an interview, be prepared to provide additional information. Be ready to go beyond just a simple answer and give them an opportunity to learn who you are. After losing a job, it's really easy to get down in the dumps and to think that things aren't going to change, you're not going to find a new job. The other thing is, when you look at workers and you look at surveys, a lot of American workers are disengaged, just like going to work. That means that they're unhappy at work, they're unproductive at work, and what they're going to do is they're going to bring that negativity in, and that's going to permeate the rest of the office or the workplace. And so that is going to have a rippling effect throughout your business. So how do you get your attitudes? One is if you can kind of go back to your core values. What are my highest priorities in life? Which of those do you value the most? And what your attitude should do is match your core value. Due to technology and the age of information, it really means that attitudes kind of need to change. Because what's happening with businesses, or what businesses are finding, is that quick, accurate information, advanced technology isn't enough to keep customers. Customers are going to vote with their dollars. And so if you aren't producing a good product, if you don't have a good culture, if you don't have good customer service, you're going to lose business. And if you have people working for you who are empathizers, who can put themselves in someone else's position and understand his or her feelings, they are going to provide better customer service, which means more people are going to come back to your business, which means you're going to make more money. So here are some videos that deal with age of information and need for attitude change. That'll probably be up on Brightspace. How do we form our attitudes? One is through socialization, just interacting with other people. That is one of the ways that we acquire our attitudes. Other people help us kind of learn what's proper to believe, whether it be our parents, other relatives, friends, our community. those are the things that kind of socialize us into the attitudes that we have. Peer groups, the people that we hang out with because they're our own age, they really have a powerful influence on attitudes. That becomes probably even stronger than when you're a teen than it does in adulthood. You're kind of forming your ideas, you're forming your attitudes, you're forming your personality. And so a lot of what happens with your peer groups right now really influences attitudes later on. Reference group, those people who we tend to have a common interest with, they tend to influence our behavior and the way we view things and think about things. They also give us a point of comparison and a source of information about what we think, what we feel, and how we're interpreting things around us. Other things are rewards and punishment. Some attitudes are encouraged and rewarded, like sharing, while others are kind of discouraged, like cheating. And so that shapes how we feel about those particular things. Also, role models. We are likely to emulate those people that we admire, and that helps us learn our values. Culture is also a big influence because this is all of the things around us: knowledge, beliefs, values. Those things become part of us and our attitudes. When we look at employers, what are they looking for? More and more organizations are realizing that there's a pretty strong link between attitudes and profitability. If you have workers that have good attitudes, you have a more profitable business. So they're going to look for hires that have good attitudes and match the attitudes that they want. Basic interpersonal skills, workplace civility, not being mean to your coworkers, greeting them, talking to them. People who are self-motivated, who can set a goal and manage themselves, who don't need to be told a million times what to do. They're looking for people who are open to change. People who are stubborn or arrogant or inflexible are tough employees. People who are going to be team players and take part in decisions and solving problems. Those people who take care of themselves physically have fewer sick days and they bring more energy to work. Also, those people who are accepting of others, whether it be multicultural or global workforces or whatever it is. We don't get to pick who we work with, the boss does. So we need to be able to appreciate all of the different groups of people who are working in a business. Those people who can develop relationships based on trust are going to be better workers. Attitudes, they're difficult to change, but they're not impossible. Being able to change your own or other people's attitudes can really help you be more successful, not just in life, but at the workplace as well. Because if you can change a negative attitude to a positive attitude, you are going to be more fun to be around, and you're going to help your company make more money. So when we look at how do you change and how do you develop positive attitudes, one is just choosing to be happy, choosing and embracing optimism, being able to think for yourself and keep an open mind. Those things are going to help you. So when we look at choosing happiness, perceptions of situations are pretty critical, the way we interpret things. But happy people are more sociable, flexible, and creative. So choosing that happiness allows you to be able to do those things. How do we do it? What we focus on largely determines our level of happiness. We can't necessarily change the things that happen, but we can change the way that we react to them. So mentally reframing things that can help us. Also by having relationships, people that we can rely on, people that we can go to, can help us overcome maybe some of our negativity. When you look at embracing optimism, just being optimistic, thinking that things can get better, thinking that things will get better, are going to help us feel better about the situation. And when people encounter others who are optimistic, they tend to tap into that energy and they begin to mirror your behavior, your optimism. And really avoiding being pessimistic, which long term can turn you into a cynic, and they're not very much fun to be around. Thinking for yourself, don't just go along with the group. Differentiate personal, professional relationships with coworkers, because that allows you to kind of, again, be able to separate the two and be able to think for yourself. Keeping an open mind. Understand that maybe the way that you think, the way that you're interpreting things, that may not be reality. And so by being able to question the way that you are thinking, the way that you are feeling, that enables you to be more flexible and be open to more experiences and bring in new information. How can we help others change their attitudes? One is changing the conditions that go before the behavior. So if we know that throwing an employee to the wolves is going to make them anxious and upset, it's our duty to help them feel prepared, to help them be ready to answer questions. And then they're going to be more effective, and that's going to help them feel better about what they're doing. Changing consequences that follow a behavior. We talk about this in psychology. One of the biggest mistakes that parents make is oftentimes they're engaging with their kids when they're doing something wrong. So they're scolding their kids, they're punishing their kids, but parents don't ever catch kids doing things when they're doing them well. And that's one of the things that you can really change in terms of behavior is catch your kids doing good things and praise and reward the good rather than always focusing on the bad. So those are the things that we can really do. Organizations, the efforts that they're taking to improve employees' attitudes. Again, there's this connection between performance and productivity and positive attitudes. So they realize that employees can't be separated in terms of attitudes performance, that they're intertwined and they're interlinked. And the things that workers are looking for in the workplace is mutual respect, interesting work, recognizing them for doing a job well done, and getting better at something, developing skills. Those things promote good attitudes and a better workplace. The last thing to keep in mind is this is Viktor Frankl, who survived Auschwitz. And so, when you look at that quote, many Auschwitz survivors or survivors of the genocide in Germany credit their attitude, that their attitude is what helped them survive. The fact that they were positive, they were optimistic, that they were able to overcome a tremendous amount of negativity is what was key to their survival. And so, again, if you can choose an attitude in that situation, we can really choose an attitude in any situation.